Israel is expanding its ground operation to all over Gaza, warning civilians to move and evacuate yet again. After 3 days of intense fighting and airstrikes, the US is stepping up its public warnings as the death toll has risen to over 15,000, according to the Hamas authorities in Gaza. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin stressed Israel's, quote, moral responsibility to protect civilians. He also said it can affect the battlefield.
You see, in this kind of a fight, the center of gravity is the civilian population. And if you drive them into the arms of the enemy, you replace a tactical victory with a strategic defeat.
Vice President Kamala Harris weighed in from the COP28 climate summit in Dubai.
Too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Frankly, the scale of civilian suffering and the images and videos coming from Gaza are devastating.
CNN is also saddened to report that at least 9 members of our own colleague Ibrahim Dahman's family have been killed in Gaza. That happened yesterday. So what influence does the United States have as Israel seeks to avenge the slaughter of 1,200 people on October 7th and to remove Hamas from power in Gaza? Our first guest tonight, Josh Paul, resigned from the State Department soon after October 7th in protest of what he said were unscrutinized U.S. arms transfers to Israel. In his resignation letter, he said the Israeli response and American support, quote, will only lead to more and deeper suffering for both the Israeli and Palestinian people, and is not in the long-term American interest. And Josh Paul is joining me now. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
So, I was struck by what the US Defense Secretary said. I mean, this is a very bold military assessment that this amount of civilian killing is going to lead not only to this tragedy that the world is witnessing, but a strategic, he used the word defeat.
Yes.
And so tell me, how do you assess what he said?
I think he's right. And I think what you see is a tension between those of us who have worked in political and military fields on the ground in the Middle East and in the defense establishment, in the uniformed services, who understand that this is not going to work. This is not going to lead to the result that Israel wants. It is just going to prolong the suffering of both the Israeli and the Palestinian people for another generation. As opposed to, I think, a very political, ideological perspective that is coming from the political level in the US and in Israel and in the UK, that thinks that there is a way to make this work. There is not, and the suffering we are seeing on the ground really reflects that. I can't recall a time in my experience where I've seen such a disconnect between our values and our actions, or between the perspectives of our political leadership and the realities on the ground.